Hey, loungers. I hope everybody is doing as great as I am on this beautiful Sunday morning. Hope everybody is well and had a great weekend, was able to rest up real well so that you can be prepared for the work week. How is everybody doing? Listen, guys, I've been doing pretty good, just trying to do my thing, just taking care of the family and doing the normal stuff that I've been doing, preparing for the holidays and those things and so forth. I think this year I'm going to be doing turkey wings. I will not be doing a full turkey, because again, that always gets wasted in my house. So I'm definitely going to do some turkey wings this year. I'm going to have a nice roast, of course. I'm probably going to do a nice lasagna or at least a baked ziti or something like that. And then have all the other sides and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to the holidays. My son, since this is his first year having his own place, he's looking forward to coming and having Thanksgiving with us. And I'm really excited about that, and just having the kids come back home and, have a great time with us and everything. So it's going to be a great, great holiday this year. Then, we've got Christmas coming up after that. Most of the kids are adults. So the only two I'm really going to focus on this year buying, major, major gifts for is my son, of course, who's 15, and then my granddaughter, right? So I'm really looking forward to buying her first Christmas presents from me. One of those will be a car. Okay. So I will be buying that BMW for her. My brother's getting her a Tesla, so I'm really excited about that too. And they've got the little ones for the little 1-year-olds and stuff. So, she'll be able to use it. And plus she's already taken steps. So, she's kind of like getting really excited about that. And so, she'll be able to use it with no problem at all. So anyway, I did want to go live today. It is Sunday. Hey, Shakim, I appreciate you being in the building, bro. Appreciate you. And shout out to you and Gemini 75 and everybody that's in the clouds as well. Make sure y'all share this out so everybody knows that we are live, guys. I did want to talk this morning about some of the things that I've seen going on around the sector, and just kind of, give my commentary on these things. There's been quite a bit of stuff that's been kind of happening. A lot of things that were happening are just no longer really going on. And we've moved on to some new storylines. And I definitely wanted to talk about some of these things today, okay? So y'all make sure y'all hit the like button on the way in. And let's get started now, guys. I'll still be doing some commentary. Hey, Too Big, appreciate you being in the building. I'll still be doing some commentary and stuff coming up in 2025. However, I plan on being a lot more in the background, okay? I do think that we have some excellent, excellent content creators coming up for 2025. The women of the sector are definitely stepping up their game, and they're doing their thing. And I think I'm going to go ahead and sit back and just, and just enjoy the sector and enjoy the commentary. It's not that I won't be live and I won't be saying anything or anything like that, but, I definitely want to, at least give other people room to shine, right? And to, set up their days that they want to go live, and everybody's over there and listening to them. Shout out to Divine 7. She's been doing her thing and still doing her thing. She was live last night. I was trying to listen in, but I ended up falling asleep to it. And then also I know that Propane was live, but I was trying to listen in to Divine, but I really did fall asleep to that. So shout out to her for doing her thing. I know she went live a couple of times last night, so I thought that was great. Also, we've got Mrs. Murph. Petty Murph is coming out in 2025. I'm so looking forward to her content. I'm wondering what she's going to be telling us and talking to us about. But she's been around observing us for quite some time, since around the time of the church sector when we merged with them. So she's been around to see all the fuck shit, all the bullshit, right? And I'm really looking forward to her commentary and some of the things that she'll be saying. I know that YM is, and we'll talk about YM and Joe in just a little bit, but I know that YM has been hitting Smoke God's panel a lot lately, or a few times lately. And so that's kind of where it starts, where you get warmed up by, coming up on these panels and stuff like that. conversation, giving your commentary, giving your opinion about things. I really enjoyed the conversation between Smoke and YM the other day. And I'm looking forward to seeing her actually hit that live button and start talking to us, or at least give us uploads or something with her commentary on it. Really, really looking forward to that. And Clark as well. Clark is one of my faves. She's always around. She's one of my mods. And I really enjoy her and her presence in the sector. She's been hitting a lot of panels too, and giving her commentary on things, and giving very level-headed commentary on things. All right. So I'm really looking forward to these four ladies. I think that they are going to be dynamic together. I think that they are going to definitely change the scope of the sector, or at least change the thought process. All right. And it all starts with us as content creators and as chatters, right? And the direction that we choose for the sector to go. And I think that because these ladies seem to be so level-headed and seem to have level-headed commentary for the most part, right? I definitely think that they would definitely contribute to the greatness of the sector. And so I'm very, very much looking forward to them coming up in 2025. And it's time to let some of these, old storylines and some of these beefs and shit, it's time to let some of this stuff go, because it's very fucking old at this point, One of those particular ones that I think it's time to let go is Stargate, right? And I'm going to get into her a little bit today. I know that she loves attention. I'm going to get into a little bit of what was going on with her and why this is like so weird to me. Okay. Hey, Teresa, I appreciate you being in the building, sis. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, guys. And everybody that's in the clouds, I appreciate everybody that's coming in. So allegedly, y'all, Alan allegedly doxed Stargate on Photon's show. Okay. So Alan was on the panel and they got into it over Alan basically, telling Photon, hey, I've done paid you 500, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Dr. Steele, appreciate you being in the building. I done paid you 500. And, this is the gist of it. He basically paid Photon $500, okay, to drop Star off the panel. Photon was like, okay, he was ready to do it. And then, JJ came to the rescue and sent another 501 or something along those lines, okay? And then Alan sent like another $1 or something. It was something like that, right? So ultimately, Alan ended up spending more money than JJ did, okay? But they both gave this nigga $500, okay? One to drop Star, the other one was to keep Star on the goddamn panel, okay? Now, shout out to Photon. He getting his motherfucking money or whatever, right? I ain't gonna hate on the man trying to get his bread. But I found it funny that Star had these new rules, right? That she came up with, where it was like, oh no, you can't do that. If somebody pays an op fee to get them back on, they can't turn around and pay a new fee to get them off. That's not even true. I don't know where that came from. Okay, hey Jerm on the board, appreciate you being in the building, bro. I don't know where the hell that came from, but from what I know from the op fees thing, and this I guess is different per sector. It's also different whoever's panel you're on, right? Some of these panels will make you pay the same amount and then and more, or they'll make you pay double the amount in order to get the person back off or something like that. Other places you can pay at one good time and that's it. Other places, so it all depends on where this is, right? I don't know where Star came up with this idea that, this isn't something that, is acceptable in the sector, right? Or somehow, this is out of pocket for Photon. It ain't out of pocket at all. Stargate just don't like to be silenced, right? Or feel like she's being silenced. And I get it. Nobody wants to be silenced, right? But at the same time, we have all played this game. Every single one of us have been in a position where we've either paid somebody up off the panel or we've, been paid off the panel, right? This kind of happens. It's just what we do. We do this at Positively Hate all the time. This is something that, Triggs allows. There's various stuff like that, right? Well, usually Triggs don't allow it on the panel. He'll usually allow it in the chat, and you got to give one of his mods the money, right? But that's just kind of how that goes. And some people just can't take that shit. They can't take the quote unquote public humiliation of it all, right? And I think that's where Star was at with it. Now, here's the thing. Alan allegedly doxed Star as well and said her name, right? I'm not going to mention her name. I've said her name before on this channel a few years ago. This is how long Stargate's name has been known in the sector, okay? So it's not like, somebody couldn't easily have slipped in this man's DMs and told this man what this woman's real name is and, the general area of where she lives, right? It wouldn't be difficult to do that because most of us know what Star's real name is. It hasn't been a secret. This is something that we've all kind of known. So I wanted to say that for a reason, because Star finds ways to perpetually be the victim of every single thing, every single day, all day long. Every woman, like for instance, every woman in the sector wanted her children to be R-worded and wanted her children to be trafficked and all these other weird demonic things that this bitch done came up with in her own mind, right? And she's continued to perpetuate over the years, year after year after year. No matter how many times you try to talk to her, no matter how many times you try to show her the truth, you try to tell her the truth, she's just going to go with whatever narrative she wants it to be, And so I had a conversation yesterday. I was talking with somebody about this. And at first I felt like, damn, I really don't want to see the woman dox, right? But then at the same time, the person had to remind me of how many times this chick has actually partaken in the doxing of somebody in this sector, right? How many times she has overlooked and turned her back towards the AFWs who were doing the very same thing to people who've been doing this shit for years, who actually started the doxing process in the sector, right? How much she's willing to be so close and so down with this group of people who do this. She laughs and kikis about it. She thought it was funny that Carrie Ann's job was called. She thought it was funny, that my daughter's podcast was doxed and all kinds of, she thought those things were funny. She thought it was funny that I was being lied on, about trafficking my kids and all these other weird things. She thought it was funny that my grandfather was being doxed. All these things that she thought. I had to be reminded, right? Because y'all know my soft heart, right? Y'all know my spirit. Y'all know I'm a very forgiving individual. And I oftentimes will forget about shit that you did or shit that you said, especially if it really hasn't harmed me or it hasn't affected my family, right? I'll move on. But I had to be reminded of how karma works, right? And how that shit comes back to you. When you out here doing the most and you doing the most fuck shit and you think everything is hilarious and cute, how you out here doxing Triggs and doxing all these other people who we still don't know whether it's Triggs or not, right? Like, we don't know if it's a family member. We don't know what it is, but we know you are partaking in this very doxing, right? So I can't feel sorry for Stargate, And I'm at this point, I'm really fucking tired of her always being a fucking victim to every fucking thing in every fucking body, right? It's okay for you to fuck with people, to use their shit, to lie on Alan. Like, I'm not trying to say I got Alan back here, okay? I'm not saying that. But I'm definitely going to mention that you, Stargate, have been perpetually, constantly lying on this man, telling your audience of people, trying to sneak that shit in the middle of the night, telling people, how Alan wanted this to happen to your daughters and how Alan wanted this and Alan wanted that, just trying to paint this man as some monster. Yet you hang around multiple fucking known fucking monsters who've actually been convicted of such bullshit, right? Who've actually told us that they were touching women without their consent and all these other things. You have no problem with these people. You defend them, you do all kinds of stuff, but then you want to act like Alan did something to you because he fucking disagrees with you, because he doesn't sit up and kiss your ass over stupid bitches like Anti-Afro and Breaking the Culture and all these other people who everybody in their right mind knows something wrong with them. Okay? And that's the issue with you, Star. You play these mental mind games with people like, you're some victim, you're being treated so fucked up and so wrong, but yet you're the one that's perpetuating that behavior. You're the one that is causing people to come back at you. You're the one that's causing people to, to disrespect you. And that's just that. For 2025, my advice to Star, is put the fucking internet down for a while, right? The same way that your daughters are telling you that you be doing too much online, right? You really are, okay? And at this point, it's time for you to just kind of move on and find another angle, right? You done created a whole new channel, Stargate Chronicles. Okay, I'm subscribed. I did subscribe, right? Trying to get you up on your subscribers and all that stuff. And, I'll share your channel out and whatever. But at the same time, you know, don't get on there doing the same shit that you've been doing for the past 4 or 5 fucking years, Star. It's time for you to move on, right? If everybody hates me in a space, right? I'm thinking in my mind, everybody in this sector can't stand me. They hate me. They hate to hear from me. They think I ain't shit. I promise you, I will not have time for that particular space. I will not find myself going back and forth and in and out of that space, always there, always. If they all fucking hate me, for what? Right? I might visit once or twice just to hear what you stupid asses are saying and then laugh at that shit, right? But I'm not going to be there every day, all day, constantly trying to hear this fucking abusive bullshit. For what? For what? If it's bothering me that much to the point where I feel like, this is affecting me, right? The way that Star tries to portray, then, it's time for me to move on from that. So that's my advice to Star. Now, I'm not saying that you're asking me for advice or any of that. I'm just giving my commentary, dear. Because at this point, this shit is dead. It really is. Your storyline of being this perpetual victim that everybody needs to feel sorry for and everybody needs to help because you're so hopeless, it's dead. It's old. Okay. And it's time for you to, to put on your strength garments and get yourself up off the ground and dust yourself off and do something about that. Nobody can tell you who to be around, who to hang around, who to fuck with or whatever. But just know that when you lay down with dogs, you get up with fucking fleas. Okay. So whoever you're around, you might get the brunt of whatever's going on based off of who you choose to be around. And that's just that. That's just human nature. Okay. So anyway, let's move on from that. I wanted to talk a little bit about, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. Let's see, which one do I want to talk about first? So Triggs went live and Slander went live on Friday. Both of them were great fucking shows, okay? Along with My Opinion. Not My Opinion. Oh yeah, My Opinion is supposed to be going live in 2025 too. So hopefully you'll be doing that, sis. Along with Divine, who did some lives yesterday and so forth and so on. But let's talk a little bit about the King of the Sector, okay? And shout out to Triggs, who is the King of the Sector. Everybody knows he won fair and square. I think it was great. I enjoyed the entire show, and I thought that was great. But let's talk a little bit about how this has affected the people of this sector, okay? And some of the people of the sector, I'll say that, okay? Shout out to Triggs, Vita V. They both won. Triggs is king. Vita is queen for the year. And, I want to break this down a little bit. I've talked about this before, but I'm going to break this down again just a little bit for some people who really don't get it, right? That, this is all about bragging rights. It's all about, hey, I've done this, I've done that, and we just kind of do that. It's the kind of environment that we have. We have a roasting environment where we roast each other. We talk our little shit, and then we get back to business, right? And that's kind of what the queen of the sector and the king of the sector, the godmother, the godfather, it's all been bragging rights for people, right? I've had the godmother title before. Darrell held the godfather title. Well, I'll say this. He held the godfather title much longer than we actually wanted him to. He actually held on to the godfather title. He kind of just snatched that shit and said, that's what it's going to be. But either way, it's only bragging rights. It's not like it's some real reward behind it, right? Now, some of us have a little bit more time to put into the sector, and others of us, we don't have as much time, right? So whatever we can contribute is going to contribute entertainment to the sector. I think that what we're losing here with some people is, that all of us contribute things to the sector in different ways, right? Trig's style of doing things is not the same as Pill's style of doing things. Yet I fuck with both of these niggas, right? I watch both of their shows. I enjoy both of their shows. I moderate for Pills, and I absolutely love watching both of them, right? But they both have different styles, and they both bring a different flavor to the sector. So Triggs, he comes from a trolling standpoint, right? It's gonna be funny. You gotta let the shit he say roll off your shoulders. You can't take everything he say serious and like it's really that deep. You know what I mean? You gotta kind of just roll it off your shoulders and just laugh with the shit, right? 9 times out of 10, whatever he's talking about is gonna be fucking hilarious. There are times where he talks about things that I don't think is so funny, right? I'm entitled to that. But the same thing is with Pills. 9 times out of 10, what Pills is talking about is going to be fucking hilarious, right? I love the way that he comes with, the jokes that he makes, how easy and smooth it is for him to just tell a joke, right? And how he can just deliver that shit to us in a way that's going to have you cracking the fuck up. Okay, so shout out to Pills. Both of them know how to draw a major crowd. They know how to bring people in, and and they like to talk about really trending topics. And I think both of them are great for that. But the people have spoken, right? It's kind of like with the election, and we'll talk about this election a little bit too in just a second. But the people have spoken on this situation. I did vote for Pills to go a little bit further into the competition, but everyone else did not necessarily feel that way. But I don't think that it's personal, right? I don't think that it's that Pills hasn't contributed to the sector. I don't think that people don't recognize that. I think people do, right? But I think that when it comes down to sector topics, when it comes down to the sector, our sector, I do think that Triggs has done a little bit more when it comes to the sector, right? I've heard y'all say stuff like he doesn't contribute anything. What has he done for the sector? What projects has he done for the sector? And I was like, what? Like, he's done a lot, right? He's started the whole, the Spades games. He's done the Jeopardy. He's done a lot of those things that, has kind of brought the sector together, and we just laugh and joke for a few hours and then, we move on, right? He's done more than just troll people. He has had those moments where he does troll, right? A lot, but, it's not to the level of, where some of these people are trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's out here doxing people and pulling people's information and all this other shit. And, I heard Stargate even say the other day, how did Alan get my name? Did he get it from Triggs? Did he get it from Mona? And all this other stupid shit. First of all, neither one of them niggas talk to each other, right? They don't talk to each other. No, Star. Everybody knows your name. Like, we all know your name, okay? And no, Triggs didn't tell me that. None of that shit. I knew your name before I even knew a Triggs. Before I even knew who that was, I knew your name. Okay, so yeah, I don't know, why people come up with these crazy conspiracies over Triggs and stuff like that. But ultimately speaking, he does contribute quite a bit to the sector, and he also tends to stay on topic with the sector topics, right? He tends to talk about those things that interest us in the sector. He may bring up some beef sector stuff, but it don't last very long. He might talk about that for like 5 minutes, maybe 10 if he's involved in it, right? Like with the lemon thing. But other than that, Triggs really does contribute to our sector. And he kind of like, he dedicates his time to our sector. He dedicates his content to our sector. And so you can't help but respect that and help but notice it, right? And I think that's where the people are coming in with that. I don't think it's that he's a better person or any of that shit. I think it's just the quality and quantity of sector topics and sector related content that he does, which is kind of what pushed him over the edge with that. Okay, so that's my commentary. That's my opinion about it. Again, it's not that you don't do sector commentary, because you do, right? You definitely contribute to the sector too. You do a lot of fun shit with us. You make us laugh all the fucking time. And I would never leave your side. No matter what you decide to go do, I'm gonna go ahead and fuck with you. I'm gonna rock with you, right? But leaving the sector is not an option, sir. Okay, like, That's not an option, sir. Okay. And please don't take any of this so heavily that you feel like you need to just walk away from us, right? Because it's not that serious. We're gonna have another sector, a king of the sector and queen of the sector next year, as long as the sector's still around, right? And somebody else is gonna win next year, And hopefully it'll be one of these new content creators that's coming out, and that's going to be doing their thing and coming up in the ranks, right? But yeah, leaving the sector, I don't think that's necessary. And I hope that you don't decide to really go and do that, Pills. Okay. So that's my thoughts on the king of the sector. Like I said, there's room out here for everybody. Everybody does their thing. They do it in different ways and they deliver it in different ways, and it works for everybody because ultimately all of us are entertained, right? And I think that's the goal. So, but shout out to y'all. Shout out to you for that. Let me go over a couple of y'all comments, and then I'm going to go ahead and get back into the commentary. What's up, P? I appreciate you being in the building. Let me go ahead and take a look and see what we got in here. Let's see, y'all. Okay, I said, hey, the germ on the board. Appreciate you being in the building, bro. You said, I let shits go. I just don't fuck with some folks. Some shits I ain't fuck with. Okay, just saying. You said, hey, the Dr. Steele, my darlings. You said, that bitch put my shits out. Child. Hey, P, appreciate you being in the building. You said, F star. Okay, I'm just saying, like, I'm tired of her acting like she's just always been being victimized by somebody. You know what I'm saying? Nobody victimizing you, bitch. Like, it's not that damn deep. You know what I mean? Like, if you just get offline and actually go out and enjoy life and do some things in life, and stop trying to come around all these people you claim hate you so much, then, maybe life would go much better for you. You said laughing their ass off about it. That whole raggedy ass camp. Okay. You said too big. Absolutely not. Okay. You said thank you. You said T and in and out. Okay. Okay. You said I was just honored to be included in the bracket. Yeah. Yeah. And that's how I felt too, right? It's an honor to be included in the bracket. It's an honor for me to have gotten as far into the bracket as I did. But I did not take that deep. I didn't take that serious, right? Shout out to Raw B, because she definitely did her fucking thing this year. And she was a lot more consistent than I was able to be. But, it's nice to be recognized. And I'm always recognized in the sector. So, I do appreciate that. You said at one point it was just Ray, Slanda, and Drama doing the damn thing. It really was, right? It was only them that we were all interested in listening to, right? This is the part that, some of the people like Alan and Kip and all these niggas, they don't really, and Photon, they don't really get it, right? They don't understand that we don't want to hear you complain about everybody all day. We don't want to every single day, right? We don't want to hear you crying about, things that you think happened 4 or 5 years ago, right? We want to hear something new. We want to get some fresh commentary. We want to give some new shit that's popping, right? It's time, right? It's time to get something new going on. This is what they delivered to us, right? They delivered fresh new commentary to us that we can laugh and we can joke about, not some repetitive shit that we're constantly repeating over and over and over again. Every time you turn the live on, you're just talking about the same perpetual victimhood. And nobody wants to hear that shit, especially from some grown-ass men, right? So we want to hear from the niggas in the sector, the ones that want to give us that real commentary, the ones that actually want to make us laugh, that want to make, that want to bring the sector together. Pills, I want to add him to that list because I think that he is another one of those people that was consistent in, giving us new, fresh commentary and not constantly being this victim, right? This is all we hear when we hear from Kip, when we hear from Alan, right? I want to talk about Kip in just a minute too. Let me put this down because I think this is important to talk about. Hold on. All right. So, when we hear from these people, all they want to do is call themselves victims and that they're always, being mistreated by somebody, but they keep coming back to this same fucking space all the time with these same people that are mistreating them and disrespecting their wives and their girlfriends and doxing their house that was foreclosed and all these other things. But, nobody's making them come here. You know what I'm saying? But, this is what they do. And they don't understand why their numbers be low. or why if somebody else is on, we're going to watch them. We're not going to watch you, you know? These niggas will try to go live while Triggs is live or while Drama's live, and we're all sitting there watching them. You could be watching too, but you'd rather watch from your show with 5 people watching. You know what I'm saying? Where y'all can complain and cry and talk shit and all this other stuff. Like somehow that's going to make people stop going live. You know, I don't understand that. But either way, that's just kind of the shit that they do. And perhaps if they, you know, started switching some shit up and, you know, making some different commentary that we can all relate to, you know, maybe we would start watching you too. I remember I used to watch the DBA all the time, right? When I used to fuck with Alan, I would watch him all the time until he started talking that race shit all the time. Like it wasn't the race part. It wasn't even the scales for me. It was the conversation about how Black people are, you know, we're always on the bottom and we're always, you know, losing. And, you know, instead of you coming up with solutions to this as a Black man should be doing, right? You'd rather just continue in this perpetual, you know, we're losing thing, and then bring white people on the panel to confirm this, you know what I'm saying, and speak on how they are winning and how we're losing, and you know, and giving them this space to put down Black people, even though they weren't really kind of going with what you were doing. That was what your intentions were, and you know, it was very easy to see, and that's kind of where, you know, me and Alan. That's kind of where the disconnect came in with me and him. I can't fuck with no coon ass motherfuckers, right? And that's just where I'm at with that. And I don't care how he feels about that. But yeah. Hey, Carla Martin, I appreciate you being in the building, sis. You said I'm shopping for Thanksgiving, but wanted to say hi. Okay, no problem. I got most of the stuff already that I'm gonna cook for Thanksgiving. I need to go get some yams. I think that's it. I think I got everything else. I got pineapple. I got lemons. I got all kinds of stuff in there. So I'm ready to go with that. Oh, I need I do need an oven bag. So I can put my roast in that. But other than that, yeah, I got everything else that I kind of need right now. I just want it to be over with. That way I can I can try to lose a little bit of weight before Christmas comes, right? Because I'm gonna be eating again. Shit. You said, Carla, good to see you, darling. Hey, Divine Seven, appreciate you being in the building, sis. You said I was honored to just be mentioned in the brackets. Yeah, me too, right? I think that's where the disconnect is coming in. Like, you know, the fact that we're even mentioned in the brackets at all, you know, is really nice, right? It really feels good to just be acknowledged, right? And yeah, Pills was definitely in there. There's some people in the sector that do content creation that were not mentioned whatsoever in any of them, Queen of the Sector or King of the Sector, you know, aka Photon. He damn sure wasn't nowhere on there. Okay, so you know, that speaks volumes about what the people really think and what the people believe, you know. So he said, I wish his ass would try to leave. Okay, Pills ain't going nowhere. Shit. He said, hey Tay, I appreciate you being in the building. He said, hey T Pre in chat. Nobody ever leaves. Exactly, right? He said, 7, hey sweetheart. Hey Joe, appreciate you being in the building. We're gonna get into you and YM in just a moment, okay? The twins, all right. You said, hey, the raw B. Yeah, I love me some raw B, man. That's my baby. You said, hey, my opinion. You said, idiot, right? You said, hey, my opinion. Hey Joe. Hey 7. You said, I'm gonna say it again. Mad because you can't get in, so you go tell, okay? Don't make no fucking sense. You said, 7, I had to lean on you, sister from the pond. Okay. Hey, Sam Rowe, appreciate you being in the building. You said, hey to Joe. You said, good morning, y'all. You said, my sandwich. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, make a change. Appreciate you being in the building. You said, happy Sunday to the pre and the chat. You said, hey, my opinion. You said, honey, I'm not understanding the usage of your PTO sweetness. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. All right, so listen, let's get into let's talk about Kip, okay? Because you know what? Let's first, before we get into Kip. No, let's talk about Kip. Let's talk about Kip. No, you know what? Let's talk about YM Joe. Okay, I think this shit was hilarious. Shout out to Josephine, yo. Both of y'all, you and YM, are very talented people. I will definitely say that. Okay. But I want to share this screen because I thought this shit was fucking hilarious, man. This shit was hilarious, chick. Okay. And you know what, Joe? Joe, Josephine, you are fucking funny, bitch. All right. So I gotta show everybody this because I don't think you get enough credit, man. And I really want everybody to kind of see this little thing that she did, that Joe did. So hold on one second while I pull it up, and I'm going to share my screen with y'all. Shout out to Joe. All right. So let me share this real quick. Okay. Make sure y'all hit the like button, guys. All right. Let me make sure y'all can see this. Oh, hold on. It's coming up. Girl, you roasted the shit out of her without saying her name, but I have to show y'all what the fuck I saw. Okay, so Joe did this this right here. Okay, she did this this post. And I'm gonna pull up the post because the post is too funny. Okay. It says Yolanda Martinez Chat GPT the movie, a YM Joe production. Okay, this says Chat GPT gone wrong, failed attempt at AI. So of course you see YM Joe right here and over here in the corner, right? Then you see Anti's fat crazy ass right here. Then you see little Rev, right? But look who in the background, y'all. Look what our favorite prostitute in the background is over there doing. Okay, so Joe, I had to say you ain't fucking shit, bitch, for that fucking shit. Okay, but I find it fucking hilarious that these niggas really think that you and YM are the same person. Okay, I'm like, no, where are they getting this from? Okay, first of all, Joe has been hitting panels, going live and doing all this shit for years now. Okay, this is just kind of a thing. I have spoken and talked to Joe many fucking times offline. Okay, I know that other people have spoken to YM offline and also talked to Joe offline as well. They are not the same person, right? I know this for a fact. I know this 100% for a fact. I can prove it. But I'm going to go ahead and it's just because I find it funny to watch them fucking squirm around there and be talking about this shit. And they're going through all these things to figure this shit out and everything. So we're going to read Rev G's fucking comments, okay? Because this shit is fucking hilarious, okay? So, look, you know, I should have kept sharing. I'm gonna show y'all what this shit is because these motherfuckers be taking shit now and acting like they ain't really said something that they really do be saying. So we're going to go ahead and just show what this nigga said because I thought this shit was so funny, okay? Like, who got time like this? Like, what is going on with these people? But we're going to go ahead and check out Rev G, our favorite reverend, okay? We're going to go ahead and check him out real quick because this dude, he be really on to some, he think he really on to some shit, okay? Like, he's really letting us know, you know, what's going on here, forensics and everything else. Like suddenly, you know, he's some kind of behavior analyst and everything else. Okay. Like, child, what is going on with these black people? Let me go ahead and pull this shit up real quick. Let's pull this up real quick, y'all. Make sure it's sharing. All right. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and go back a little bit because this was done. Hold on. Shout out to Rev G and his always reminding us that he was a veteran. Okay. You said 1 is 2, y'all. Stop playing. Using ET humor to poke fun at the fact that people are pretending to be multiple YouTube accounts as they harass the same people, right? Catfish anyone, right? So let's go ahead and go up a little bit because this is where it gets fucking funny. Okay. He says, this time I use Copilot. I rarely use this AI, and I asked it to analyze 20 writing samples, 10 for each identity. So he took 10 writing samples from Josephine and 10 writing samples from YM. Okay, yo, he has the time to do this. Okay, he literally found 10 writing samples for Josephine and 10 writing samples for YM. And he asked Copilot this question: from a scale of 1 to 10, how unlikely are these written by the same person? And here is the answer. Based on the analysis of tone, style, content, language, and signature quirks, the messages exhibit consistent patterns that suggest they could likely be written by the same person. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is very unlikely and 10 is very likely, I would rate the likelihood that these messages are written by the same person around 8. The similarities in humor, direct engagement, conversational tone, and use of internet slang strongly indicate a single authorship. However, a definitive conclusion would require a more detailed forensic linguistic analysis. Okay. And then he said, hey, we could be all wrong, right? Then he goes to here and he says, based on the detailed forensic linguistic analysis, there are consistent patterns across all 20 messages in terms of tone, style, content, language, signature phrases, and linguistic patterns. These consistent elements strongly suggest that the messages could be written by the same person. Based on my own observations and the observation of others over the years, it was quite obvious to most of us in 2022. I don't know who most of us is. I guess it's him, Anti, and Breaking, right? That 1 was 2. Technology just seals the deal for me. So it is a closed book for me. Y'all play too much, okay? He managed to get himself 6 likes on that shit, okay? So here's the thing about this whole thing. I don't understand, like, even if, I don't get why you're putting this much energy into trying to prove that these 2 women who I know for a fact aren't the same person, are the same person, right? I don't know, using this Copilot, this AI, and then taking 20 excerpts from them and then adding all this stuff just so you can come up with this. I don't know if you did that or not. I don't know if you're manipulating these numbers. We don't really know what you're doing, right? All we know is that clearly with what you're saying, you have way too much fucking time on your hands, sir. Okay? Like, you shouldn't even care whether these 2 women are the same or not. Okay? Because again, telling you about yourself, letting you know how much of an idiot you fucking are, letting you know that you are a weirdo because you follow multiple children on TikTok and all these other things does not constitute harassment, okay? It speaks of truth, okay? Now, because you don't like the truth, you know how drama used to say, truth sounds like hate to those that hate the truth, okay? Yeah, I mean, it sounds like hate because you can't stand the facts about yourself. And when people like Joe or YM or myself or everybody else in the sector tells you about yourself, right? Here you are with this perpetual victimhood again. Oh, poor woe is me. Oh, I'm being harassed. I'm being treated so badly. And so I'm going to prove that they're the same person. And then after you prove that, then what the fuck are we going to do after that, right? What the fuck are we supposed to say? Okay, because this is what YM said. And I thought what she said was cool, right? Because I think she's right. Let me go ahead and show y'all what the Critical Chronicles of YM says. She said, plot twist. What if everybody already knows I'm Joe and they don't care? Maybe they're just amused by all the energy that's being put into a wild goose chase. Go run tell that Chat GPT, okay? And I'm just saying, like, I don't think we care as much as y'all want us to care, right? It doesn't matter to me, even if I know that they're not, but if they were, it wouldn't fucking matter to me, right? Because again, I know that they're not doing anything that's hurtful or harmful to you. I know that these two in particular stay away from certain things like doxing and doing things like this. These are things that they don't do. But because they might roast your stupid ass or talk about you or tell you their opinion of them, that doesn't mean that you're being harassed, right? You guys always go to extremes when you try to explain why your extreme behavior is the way that it is, right? Or why you're doing something to the extreme that you're doing it. Somehow you want to make it where it's the right thing to do, when in actuality, you just look crazy, right? But yeah, it's obvious you have way too much time on your hands, Rev G, still, if you're still trying to chase after this idea that these two women are the same people. And again, even if they are, you're chasing after the idea that somehow we would give a fuck, right? That they're the same person or not. But I think that hopefully you'll get it and understand that we fucking don't care, and it just is what it is, sir. Okay, so anyway, let me go ahead and get back up to the comments so we can see what we're talking about here. Hey, Stephanie, I appreciate you being in the building. You said you're grandfathered in, you got special privileges. Okay. I'm just saying, like, all of us that have been around in the sector for a minute, we ain't leaving. It's just not it's not an option to be leaving and to be putting out the sector and all this other stupid shit, right? I can only think of one person that actually got canceled, and he's not even canceled. He's been hitting people channels and shit lately too, and that's Al Lanier. Hey, beautiful. Appreciate you being in the building. You said, Stephanie Collins, appreciate you being in the building. You said, I finally caught a live. I got to catch up on a couple things with you. I'm going to hit you on Instagram. You said, LOL, I roasted her without saying her name. Okay, you did an excellent job at doing that. Piss Jug Man needs to get off Triggs and drama's fucking nuts. Girl, we can already get into Piss Jug Man in just a second. Because, honey, I got a couple things to say to that fool. You said, all my honey bunnies got the juice, right? You said, yo. You said, laughing my ass off. You said, my sandwich. Hey, VS, appreciate you being in the building. You said, I roasted her without saying her name, child. That's what you had to do. Sexy toy lady, appreciate you being in the building. How's the baby doing? You said, I've been trying to figure out who that was for like 3 days. You want to know who the prostitute was in the background? Child. Oh, man, that shit was hilarious. He said, I'm Navia. He said, LOL, the AFW don't know. People talk to each other, okay? Just saying. He said, Stephanie, beautiful, the bestest, VS. He said, hey, sweethearts. He said, no, don't my heart clutch his chest. Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you. He said, LOL, sexy toy lady. You said Divine. You said okay over there. You said you okay over there, and then you said Teresa. You said this is a new post. Okay, yeah. You said wow, child. You said good morning, everyone. You said I would have to be on here for 24 hours. Okay, like literally. Okay, shit. Nobody got time for that shit. This nigga actually pulled up all these different writing excerpts of y'all. Like, this has to be years worth of shit that he had to do, right? Like, who got that kind of time? Like, nobody got time for that just to prove somebody's the same person. Like, and you asked an AI bot about this shit? If you don't get the fuck out of my face, nigga, I wonder how much he paid to do that shit. You said, okay, wait. You said, is Copilot equipped to do that? Or is it just telling him what it thinks he wants to hear? That's what it sounds like to me, right? It sounds like he put in what he wanted to manipulate it into what he wanted to get back, and that's kind of what I think happened here. You got to talk to like a behavior and a speech analyst, right? In order to really get an understanding of that. And an AI robot, I don't think I have much faith in an AI bot telling me that shit. For real. So, and plus I know that they're not the same person. And I don't even really get along with YN like that. I fuck with Joe, but they're not the same person. I can tell you that for sure. You said, Joe, I adore your tummy. You said, I'm Nevia. You said, I'm all right, barely. This sector is a lot. Okay, child. You said, LOL, my opinion. You said, morning, STL. Liz Martin, child, po thing. You said, hey, y'all. What's going on? Hey, Happy Life. Appreciate you being in the building. You said, I hear you always something, Divine Seven. Okay. Always something. Decline Seven now and all this other shit. But niggas over there watching though. Breaking their neck to watch. Okay. Trust me. Photon watches every fucking thing. Trust me. You said, shits, I got to go. Damn, my ass knows my nosiness, right? You said he should ask AI to find his meds. How about that? What Chat GPT say about your medication? Okay. And where that needs to be at, where that's coming from. Okay, shit. Anywho, let's see. We talked about Triggs Live. We talked about the King of the Sector. We talked about Alan telling us Star's name, even though we already knew it, and her acting like she got doxxed. And even though she's part of doxing everybody, we're somehow supposed to care. Let's talk about the election, and then we're going to talk about Kip, and we're going to talk about this blackout shit, right? So with the election, right? Listen, there have been people all over the U.S. crashing the fuck out over these fucking elections, okay? Like, this shit is nuts, y'all. I ain't never seen no shit like this in my life. I seen a woman yesterday talking about she not having sex for the next 4 years. And all women, we need to stop fucking for the next 4 years because, our reproductive rights are in jeopardy and all this other shit. I'm looking at this bitch like, oh, that's going to be you. It won't be me. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. And then we got people talking about, they're going to lose their LGBTQ rights and stuff like this. And I'm like, okay, guys, we have spent 4 years already with this same president, right? Who has talked a lot of shit, who has said a lot of stuff, who has, tried to do a lot of dumb shit, right? But at the same time, he did some good things for the country as well. I don't want to get into a bunch of debatable details on that, because it is up for debate, right? Some people might look at Trump as, this complete loser. Other people might find him, weird, but, they think he can lead the country. And other people think that he's just absolutely is not capable of leading the country at all. I think, I'm kind of in between with it, right? I don't think that he's completely incapable. I think that he has a lot of ideologies that I don't agree with and don't necessarily get along with, but he has a lot of ideologies that I do, okay? And so I'm not upset that he's becoming president again. And like I said, we have spent 4 years with him already. And in that 4-year time frame, we did not lose any LGBTQ rights. We didn't lose any reproductive rights, even though he had talked about, banning abortion. But these are things that are up for debate in regards to reasons for abortions, where these things take place, and how this is kind of handled by the states as opposed to the federal, right? And so I think that people are just emotionally charged these days. I think I understand, though, because let's look back at January 6th, right? When Trump, when the whole insurrection happened at the Capitol, and how, that just put people on edge. We really didn't know what type time, he was on with that bullshit, and these people were on. And I think people just don't want to see that again. But the difference between then and now is the pandemic, guys, right? The pandemic had us all kind of locked in, locked down. We were all kind of in a position where we could only, be around our families. Some of us weren't allowed to come outside at all. It was just a really dark time in the world, right? I remember when George Floyd was killed and how everybody just came outside with no masks, no nothing. And it just seemed like COVID was just over like that fast, right? Like everybody, all this mask, staying in and staying away from each other just meant nothing when that happened, because everybody started coming out, very, very dark and traumatizing times for us. And I think that, a lot of us kind of remember those times, and we contribute, we look at Trump because, in this way based off of what happened while he was in office. Oftentimes you'll remember a president based off of what was going on in the world at the time, even if the president didn't necessarily have anything to do with it, right? Like, it wasn't Trump's fault of the whole pandemic coming, starting in the first place. It wasn't his fault. As a matter of fact, he tried his best to be kind of more transparent about, how the seriousness of it, right? He wanted us to know, like, they're making this more than it really needs to be. This is going on and that's going on. And it kind of was proven once the Floyd thing happened and everybody started coming outside anyway. And this was happening across the world, right? There were protests everywhere. So, I'm having a hard time with the emotional responses to this election. Here's the thing. If Kamala had done a better job of, instead of, talking shit about Trump and, bringing Beyonce and Meg Thee Stallion up to twerk for us and all these other things, if she had given us actual real policies, that are tangible to us, that are things that we can hold her accountable to. Trump gave us some policies that we can hold him accountable to, right? We can hold him to the fire over. Now, whether he chooses to do it or not, will speak volumes. But we can hold him to the fire over, policies that he actually, that are tangible, that we can actually look into. Kamala did a piss poor job of doing that. She did not give us any tangibles at all that we can look at and say, hey, okay, we can work with you. We can work with this. Let's hold you accountable and see if you're actually going to do it. And then she also spent the past 4 years as vice president, while our country was going to shits, right? While we have millions upon millions of undocumented people coming into the country, which is causing our resources to be depleted, right? Which is causing the American people to pay higher taxes, causing the American people to pay higher for groceries, higher for gas and various basic needs that we need, right? It's because our resources are so depleted, giving these resources to undocumented people, including the Medicaid system. We've got people that are coming into the country that are not documented, but yet they can go and apply for Medicaid and they can get it, okay? And look that shit up. I ain't got to make that up. That's definitely something that's happening. These are things that are taking away from actual American citizens, working class people, people that are at work in this country and take care of their children in this country every single day and have been doing it from day one, right? It would be like me coming over to any country and then suddenly me and my family, undocumented, come into your country and we're actually taking resources that are counted for you. You know what I mean? That's not okay. And that's something that they allowed to happen. And because of this, our economy is fucked up, right? I think that's a much bigger problem than the abortion issue. Because again, Black women and women that are impoverished, if they need an abortion, they're still going to have to pay out of pocket for that. Most women that are impoverished cannot afford private insurance and a private insurance that would be able to pay for an abortion. So they're still going to have to pay out of pocket for this abortion anyway, okay? If there's situations where there's like an incestuous situation or something where somebody went through rape or something like this, there's programs out here and there's various resources that have funding to help women pay for these things, okay? So miss me with the bullshit with the abortion thing. We have much bigger fish to fry here in our country. We got Russian warships in our midst, because these niggas is out here throwing money at Ukraine and throwing money here and throwing money there, billions of dollars into this that could be going back into the American people. I get it. Our military does have to be strong. There has to be a balance there. But this is money that has been thrown out to places and the American people are suffering, right? And I think the American people have woken up to that. I'm proud of Black people for waking up this year and not just Democrat, and just going with that direction. There's so many things I could talk about when it comes to the Democrats. That shit was started by a white supremacist group, okay? Republicans are started off with Black people, with previously enslaved people who were able to make political decisions, right? And that's kind of where that is. But we've been duped into believing that these Democrats have our back, that they're always going to look out for Black people, that they're always going to look out and support the Black community. And when have you ever seen that happen? Like, let's look at the Obama era. Let's look at now. Let's look at any time. When have you seen any good things really happen for the black community, right? The only thing that I think Clinton did was the welfare to work program, which I thought is good because it kind of got us out of, well, it kind of got some people out of the mindset of just collecting a welfare check, and they kind of had to start working. But then that created issues too. So now you've got the mother who can't raise the child, in the home. She's got to be out of the home. She's got to work, right, in order to get her benefits. And so she's got to put this child in daycare. She's got to find somebody else to watch the child. This can cause more problems, right? So I think there's a fine line in, creating policies that they think are best for the Black community, as opposed to listening to us and listening to our actual needs, getting in the trenches, coming down and having these conversations with us to see what our needs are, and then actually doing something to meet those needs. Not what Joe Biden did and what Kamala did in the beginning, which was come to these Black churches, bring a bottle of hot sauce and eat some chicken with us and think that somehow is what we want and what we need. But America has spoken and has let them know we're no longer going with that bullshit. Not only did we take the Democrats out of the presidency, we took y'all up out of the Senate, right? Now we took y'all up out the House. The House is possibly going to lose this too. So it's like, what do you do, right? You got to listen to the people. If they really want to have a fighting chance of winning anything in the midterms in the next 2 years, right? They are going to have to listen to what the fuck we're telling them. They got to stop telling us what we want. And they got to listen to us and listen to us tell them what we want, right? And what we're expecting. And I think that if they do that, they might have a fighting chance, But shout out to y'all for everybody who's given their commentary on it, and so forth and so on. The final part of this I want to talk about. Shout out to King Roman News on the Go. If one of my mods can put his link in the chat, I want you guys to get a chance, if you can, to go over and listen to him, because he was on the Democratic side. He wanted Kamala to win, but she didn't. And so, he was pretty upset about that at first. There was a few people that were. He didn't act all crazy, but, he was pretty upset about it. But then the next day or so, after the smoke cleared, he did go live and he talked about this. And that was one of the things he said. But he also talked about, he had brought up this white guy who, this white man who, and this Asian man who were having a conversation. The white man and the Asian man were having this conversation over dinner. And the Asian man, or lunch or whatever they were having, and the Asian man was asking him why he voted for Trump, right? Why the white man voted for Trump. The white man told him, he said, well, the reason is because, he tends to look out. He said, and I'm going to paraphrase what he said. He said that Trump tends to look out for my interests. He tends to look out for my people's interests. And the guy said, well, why do you feel like only your interests, are necessary, or something along those lines? And the guy was like, well, we built this country. This is what this white guy said. Okay. He said, we built this country. And, our forefathers started this government, hundreds of years ago, and expected certain things to be a certain way in order to protect our people. And I just listened to this and I was shocked, but then I wasn't shocked, right? Because he was actually speaking facts on what he feels, right? I mean, as fucked up as it sounds, as fucked up as it is, and as flawed as it is, this is how he really feels, right? People, it showed me something very, very interesting. But let's finish talking about what he said. So he said all that, and then the Chinese guy had to remind this nigga, like, well, you do know Black people and Native Blacks and Blacks are the ones that actually built the country, right? You know that they are the ones that slaved and slaved in the cotton fields. They created the cotton gin, they are the ones that created the infrastructure of America as it is today, right? And he didn't want to agree, but he also didn't want to disagree, right? Because he knew that that's really true, right? If you really want to say it all, that's really true. But this is what this guy said, and this was profound. He said, nowhere else in the world is there anywhere established for my people. He said, at some point, my people will be extinct if we don't, if we don't start preserving ourselves, if we don't do something to preserve ourselves, if we don't look out for our interests, our people will be gone. He said, there's nowhere in the world where you can go and there's a pure set of only white people. And, I thought about that, right? And I'm like, yeah, I guess he's right. Because number one, most lands, the Aboriginal people of the land are Black, right? So, okay, I get what he's saying. But this is what's profound about what he said. Because I don't necessarily agree with his thoughts and his thought process, his thought patterns, but I get it. We have to start voting and looking at politics in the best interest of ourselves, right? We can't afford to look out for the best interest of everyone else, right? Where we're looking out for everyone else's interests and we're kind of leaving ourselves on the side and we're putting ourselves last, we're putting ourselves next. We feel, and we've been trained to believe mentally that, putting ourselves first is selfish and that we don't deserve to do that, that we should be putting other people first and then God will bless us with the protections because, we're helping others first, right? I think that's true to a certain that we should do that. But when it comes to politics, when it comes to the best interest of the Black community, I think we need to stop letting other people ride our coattails. And that's a fact, right? The fact that this white man was so bold and he had enough balls to say that out of his mouth on camera, right? That this is how he feels. And this is what his interests are because of this and because of that. And nobody wants their race to be extinct. He's right. Nobody does, right? I get that. Do I think it's right in his thinking? I think his thinking is flawed. I think, where he's coming from with this, it's flawed. But I see his point of view, right? I don't necessarily agree with everything he said, but I see his point of view. I see the vision, and I think that we need to start doing that too. We need to start looking out for the interests of our people. And the people did that this year. We didn't come out to vote. Or if we did come out to vote, we voted for who we wanted to, right? And we unapologetically did it. And I think that that's okay. I think it's time for us to be doing that. I think it's time for us to stop following this Democratic, one way only party. And, we all have the same interests as Black people. We all don't. We have very different interests in different households for Black families. I'm pretty sure every white person doesn't feel the way that this white man said. I'm almost certain of that. As a matter of fact, I am certain of that every white person doesn't feel that way. But what he said definitely spoke volumes, and it tends to be that way across the board with other races, but it's only, because we've been taught so much, to put everybody else before us, right? We've been given this religious idea that, excuse me, guys, that this religious idea that putting, everyone else before our own interests is godly, and it's next to godliness. And that's kind of where we've adopted it and we've kept it. But it wasn't good for us, right? So hopefully we'll be doing some things very different come 2025. And it seems like that's what people are ready to do. So, hey, Mia Mines, appreciate you being in the building. Let me see what we're talking about here in the chat. And then we're going to get on to the next topic. Hold on. Okay. What's up, Smoke? Appreciate you being in the building. Yeah, Trump 25, child. You said, I agree. Things are too entrenched for my people. The federal government isn't going to annul millions of marriages instantly. Exactly. And I think that, people, I get it. Like I said, I get the whole emotional side of bringing Trump back into office, with all the emotional and horrific things that were going on while he was in office, right? And like I said, people tend to remember what was going on in the world when that person was president, And I think that's kind of where the emotions are coming in. But we're not losing any rights, guys. We're just not. Mia Mize, I appreciate you being in the building, sis. You said, meanwhile, she's soaking her collards in the bathtub. Child. Ain't nobody got time for no bitches like this, okay? You said the last Democrat that had a comprehensive social program was LBJ. Yep, Lyndon B. Johnson. Yeah, there's a couple of them that had some kind of comprehensive and progressive social plans. Some of those things didn't get off the ground, right? But yeah, the Democrats haven't done shit for us in God knows how long. You said of all the refugee groups, the Ukrainians are getting the highest allowance and support. It's just ridiculous. It is nuts. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate that. You said the white man was basically saying he wants to maintain the status quo. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. You said me, hey, sweetums. You said, damn, my opinion. You said, how are you, honeys? You said 100. Redbone, appreciate you being in the building, sis. You said, hey, to Redbone. You said, always good, darling. Life is life. And you said, sis, hey, honey. You said, I know that's right, sis. My opinion. You said, T Pre, good morning. Hey, Very Perspectives. Appreciate you being in the building. You said, me, you know, our sister shits, okay? You said, I think I'd be okay with saltines going extinct. It's funny because what he said, you know, it is kind of like true, you know. There isn't anywhere where you could say there's purely only white people. It's the same thing with black people, right? There's not just purely only black people anywhere. But I think the point of what he was saying is, you know, I vote for my best interests, period, you know, and I unapologetically do it. And I think that we need to have the same attitude, you know, I really do. He said, shout out to the chat. He said, hey to me and mine. He said, not all y'all darlings. He said, I sure do, my opinion. You said, respect Very Perspectives. You said, me, you got a new one. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and talk about, we talked about the election. Let's talk about, okay, we talked about YM too. All right, so let's talk about this conspiracy, the Great Blackout Conspiracy, okay? So I want to talk about that a little bit because I think there's definitely some misunderstandings with this. And I'll be glad when, you know, if this conversation ever does come to a head where we can actually show, you know, or talk about what really happened during the blackout meeting. I think that would be really great because I think it would be nice for y'all to really know how wrong y'all are, right? But I'll get it. I get it, right? You know, we troll around here. You know, we drag shit out sometimes, you know what I mean, for a while. And so, you know, we'll see how long this continues to go on. But I definitely want to talk about this a little bit because I definitely think that y'all have some things misconstrued about this blackout meeting, okay? So I was at the blackout meeting. I think y'all know that already. Y'all know that, that you know of a couple of other people that were there just based off of emails and stuff that Dee Durrell was showing. So I think you guys know about those things. Here's the problem with where I'm coming in with this, okay? There was never a intention in these meetings to stop people from attending other people's shows, to stop people from watching other people's stuff or any of this stuff, okay? The purpose of the blackout meeting was to, it was during the time where Carrie Ann's job was being called, where they were constantly calling the news, making up stories. They were doxing her students and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, we knew all about this stuff and everybody was pretty angry about it. I can't think of anybody in the sector. I'm sorry, guys. I can't think of anybody in the sector that wasn't angry about that, right? Except the AFWs who were participating in the behavior, right? So at the time, that was what the conversation was. What are we going to do in regards to this in order to save our sector? Because the bottom line is none of us, not a single content creator and not a single chatter is going to continue in an environment where they constantly have to be put in this state of, you know, if whatever I say you're going to call my job, or whatever I say, you're going to try to call my family members and harass them and do all kinds of crazy stuff, right? So we tried to figure out as adults, with clear minds and clear heads, what directions we wanted to go in, not the entire sector, but the directions that we were going to take our channels, what we were going to do in chats and different things like this. We were going to stop fucking with the anti-fraud warriors. So if you don't call yourself an AFW, right? Like I know Smoke, you don't call yourself AFW. I know Alan doesn't call himself AFW. I'm not sure then why you guys would be offended by us not wanting to deal with Anti and Rev G, okay, and Professor Cupcake and Breaking the Culture and these people that perpetuate this doxing and perpetuate this bullshit, okay? They weren't even mentioned. Rev G or Breaking, or Professor Cupcake. Neither one of them were mentioned. But these are people that fuck with Anti on a regular basis, okay? And so if they are perpetuating any of this behavior, then these are people that obviously would be blacked out, okay, by me or by you or by whoever chose to do that, okay? There wasn't a single time that the Smoke God's name came up, that Alan's name came up. As a matter of fact, Alan was invited to the meeting, okay? So I'm not sure where, this whole idea of we were trying to make the sector do what we wanted them to do and all. These are grown people. They're going to go wherever the fuck they want to go, okay? But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean I got to advertise your bullshit on my channel. That doesn't mean my mods are going to allow people to advertise that bullshit that y'all do in my chat. That's what that meant, okay? So I need that to be very clear, because there was not a conspiracy to go against you guys, to go against other content creators and to create this hostile environment and all this other stuff. If you go live and you talk your shit and you talk about what you're talking about, you're going to grab a crowd of people that are going to come to you. It's not up to the sector to make sure that you always have that crowd. It's up to you as the content creator to entertain people enough where they want to be there, okay? Because there's nobody here that's holding anybody hostage, that's paying anybody, or any of this other conspiracy shit that y'all came up with, to make people not want to come to your show. If people aren't coming to your show, it's something about you. It's something about your content. That's why that's happening. It's not because there's this mass conspiracy that all these grown 40, 50, 60-year-old people can be controlled by a couple of different content creators who had a meeting about the immoral bullshit that was going on in the sector. Now, let's be real, okay? Anti got her shit put the fuck out here because of the shit she's been doing to people over the years, okay? This was her karma, all right? So I don't feel sorry for her, for everybody knowing she works for Kepro. Everybody knows what her family members look like and all this other shit after she done did this to all of us, including y'all, multiple fucking times, including Smoke, including Alan, and everybody she's done this to, okay? So, no, I don't feel sorry for her that her shit is out here, It is what it is. But that meeting was not set up to black out all the people in the sector that we just don't like. That's not what happened. It was the bullshit, the illegal bullshit that they were doing to Carrie Ann and to multiple people in this sector, where we finally just were done. And nobody is gonna keep coming back to a space and creating content and enjoying content if this is what we have to face. If we got to face you calling the police and all this other shit. This is why the sector was dead for a few weeks, because nobody was going to deal with that bullshit while these 2.0 bitch made niggas was out here calling the police and shit and calling probation officers and all this other bullshit, right? Final thing I want to talk about in regards to Kip. Let's go ahead and get into him, because I thought this shit was fucking crazy. Okay. Hey, Samba Queen, I appreciate you being in the building. It's great to see you in here today. And We Unlock, I appreciate you too as well. All right. So here's the problem with Kip, right? So Kip is running around now, and he was on, shout out to Smoke. I seen the show the other day. He was running around talking about how, this is what he said. And shout out to Photon, because Photon definitely pointed this shit out. Okay. And I had to say the same shit. This nigga said, Smoke said, Kip never said that he was going to try to get Triggs locked up. That's wrong. He absolutely said that he was trying to get Triggs locked up. He said he wasn't going to stop until he got him in jail. Okay, those were his exact words, is that he wasn't going to stop until he has this man brought to justice. That is what this man said. He wants to see him locked the fuck up. He wanted to see him in jail. And so he was calling his probation officer. He was going to let his probation officer know that he's being, quote unquote, harassed online and all this other bullshit, right? Then he said, this is what Kip said. Kip said, I'm not going to dox drama. I'm not going to do that. I can do it, but I'm not going to do it. I wonder why you've had a change of heart with drama. And I think I know why you had a change of heart with drama. And I'm going to go ahead and give you my opinion on this. And again, I could be wrong, right? But I'm going to give you my opinion about it. I think once you got you got in touch with these people with this probation place, right? And they gave you their business card, right? And then you tried to follow up. They told you, we've done an investigation on this. And it turns out that this person that you're claiming is this person that's harassing you. They don't know who you are. They don't know what's going on. They don't know any of this stuff. They don't know any of these people. And we're closing this case and this investigation. That's what I think happened. I think they let you know you were wrong and that you didn't have the right person. And now you have to save face with the Secktah because your 60-plus-year-old ass is still up here telling us how you want to put these men in jail because they said you're a bad father, right? Or because they said you didn't pay your fucking bills on time and stupid shit like this. So you want to, get them fired and get them in jail. But then they're telling you, no, you got the wrong guy. We don't know who this is. You got to start over. So you got to save face with the Secktah and just be like, you know what? I ain't even going to dox him. I'm going to leave him alone. I'm not going to bother him no more. That's what I think happened, is that you finally realize, Kip, Piss Jug Man, that you have the wrong guy, okay? And you had D. Darrell's stupid ass and all these other dumb motherfuckers out here. Hey, look at him. Look at the horn on his head. Look at him. We're going to call his job. Look at him. And you had the wrong person. Instead of you being a fucking man and admitting you were wrong, you would rather just say, you know what? I ain't even going to dox him, y'all. I ain't going to dox him. After all these months, you've been building this shit up for month after month after month with all this dramatic bullshit just to turn around and say that? I think that shit's hilarious. And then you said the same thing about Triggs. You said, Triggs, tell the people what your probation officer said. Tell them what she said. She said that you said, you don't even know these people over here, but they keep harassing me. I don't know who these people are. That's what you said, kid. And you know what I read between the lines with that? That the probation officer is so sick and tired of your 60-plus stupid motherfucking ass that shouldn't be online worried about this shit any fucking way. She's so sick of fucking hearing from you that she finally told you, listen, my client says he does not know anything about any of you people. He's not online. He's not on YouTube, but he knows that you're harassing him because there's multiple people of y'all and your friends that are constantly contacting him, constantly contacting his ex-wife, constantly contacting his children, constantly contacting his job, but he does not know who you are. That's what I think they told you. So I think, again, you have the wrong person. But you trying to save face, knowing you don't have nothing else. Oh, I got more coming down the line. We don't even care at this point. Okay? Because we know you're fucking harassing a fucking stranger. Somebody who does not know anybody in this sector. Somebody who doesn't go live. Somebody who's not interested in the sector. Okay? Yeah, they might watch somebody over in the beef sector and they might watch other things, but that don't mean they're watching us and they know who we are. But you having to be right about everything that you say and everything that you do, you just can't swallow the fact that you're wrong. Okay? You're just wrong. And here's the thing. Even if, like I've been saying all this time, even if this was him, right? What the fuck do you think we're going to do about it? Do you honestly think that if you continue to tell us some bullshit about some grown-ass man who ain't got shit to do with any of us, do you honestly think we're going to stop going to his shows? We're going to stop watching? Because that's ultimately what you want. You want everybody to stop watching him. You want everybody to just not like him for whatever reason, because you can't get over him. You can't get over him telling you about yourself as a father, right? If you spent more time on your son's channel, like some of us have done, okay, where we've actually listened to your son talk. I don't know if any of y'all got his link, but y'all can put his link in the fucking chat. If you spent more time listening to your son and what your son actually says, you wouldn't be online talking this bullshit. You wouldn't be trying to put niggas in jail over telling you the truth about how you actually treated your child. Okay? What you did with him. Okay? Not some splice and dice shit. Not some shit breaking the culture wants you to think. Not some shit breaking the culture put together. But actual videos of your son on camera talking about you. See, we all know where the fucking channel is. I don't know. Maybe the mods don't know, but I know where it's at. Okay? And yeah. So what you need to do is find a fucking life, sir. Okay? You need to go find something to do with yourself. You should not be this fucking bothered over fucking internet shit. You up here screaming to the top of your lungs, crying, going off and carrying on, and tell the people, tell them, Triggs. And he looking at you like, for what? It's not my story. What do I need to tell them something for? I haven't spoken to a probation officer. I don't have a probation officer. Dummy. And you know this too. You know it. But you can't admit to it because now it's going to make you look stupid. What you fail to realize, sir, is that you already look stupid. Okay? You already look dumb. You already look like, somebody who can't control their emotions. Somebody who needs to constantly be reminded that they're a man because they haven't done manly shit their entire fucking life. That's what you are. That's what you've been. And that's what you will continue to be until you get your shit together. And it's going to start with your family. It's going to start with your relationships in your personal life. It's obvious that whoever this guy is that you've been doxing and harassing and stalking for the past few months, it's obvious that that person is well into the life of their children. That person is constantly caring for their kids, right? But you, sir, you will step over and skip over helping your son with anything just to fucking trip on and harass and stalk these niggas online when you should be harassing and stalking your son. And that's a fact. Now go listen to him so you can hear what he actually said. Not spliced and diced videos. I refuse to play it. I want you to go listen to it for yourself. What your son be saying about you. Okay? Like what he really be saying about you. That's what we need to go do. While you sitting up talking about me and my daughter and all this other bullshit that's been spliced and diced together. At the end of the day, let's hear you actually step up into the life of your child and do something for your son. It's never too late, right? I mean, he's still got his whole life ahead of him. Help that man. Do something to support and protect him. Do something to finally help him. Let him know that you are there. Let him know that you do love him. Let him know that you might have made some mistakes, but that, hey, you're trying to make it right. Do that. And stop worrying about these niggas and trying to get these niggas in jail and trying to force us to believe that somehow these niggas gonna go to jail because they said you are deadbeat. The fuck wrong with you? Anyway, let me go ahead and read y'all comments, and we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I definitely appreciate all of y'all for being in the building. Well, Unlock, I definitely appreciate you being in the building, bro. You said, I thought them people wanted to be left alone. What's the problem? Okay. Like when we leave you alone, we ain't talking to you. We're not saying nothing to you, then you got an issue with that shit, right? You said, I did for my birthday in April, damn my opinion. I got a Mac and a Me chip. You said, hey, Samba, I do appreciate you being in the building, sis. You said, I'm 5.0 like the Mustang, okay? You said, You said, who's 60 plus? Kit? You said, if that was going somewhere, there ain't a way in hell they wouldn't be gloating. Exactly. That's a fucking fact. You said, oh. You said, as they said in the early 90s, whoop, there it is, okay? You said, you want me to drop it? Yeah, if you have it, you can put that in the chat. You said, like it's hot, damn my opinion. You said, why do people stalk others online? It's strange. Ciao. Yeah, you can definitely put his link in here because I want people to know. Y'all can hear what this man say. He's on YouTube. He has his whole YouTube. He has an entire YouTube channel, child. And yeah, he has talked about Kip a couple of times in those videos, and was very open about those things. And it is what it is. I want one more thing I want to talk about. I'm gonna share my screen for this because this shit was crazy. I know you guys have heard of the girl Gina Toe who had HIV, and she was given HIV by somebody, and she doesn't really know who gave her HIV, but she does know that she has it, right? And that she's had it for some time. And I wanted to share this with you guys because this shit is nuts, okay? There was something that she said, and then Nick Cannon got to talking, right? And when him talking, he said something that I found very fucking strange. And I wanted to clear this up and to at least give commentary on this because, guys, we can't be walking around here saying ignorant shit, okay? And just saying stuff because, we want people to believe, somehow that these things are true, okay? No, we're going to be honest about some shit and be real about some shit. And we're going to clear up some serious things that people lie about. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into that. And then we're going to get into actual truths in regards to this. Okay, so the backstory is this is a young woman who was diagnosed with HIV just a few years ago. She was diagnosed and they told her that she has HIV. She didn't know it. She had it for years and she wasn't aware of it. Okay. So let's go ahead and listen into a little bit of this. I know there's probably going to be a commercial that's going to play, but we'll go ahead and get past that.
Let's go into the questions y'all ask me.
But Mariah's sister has HIV positive.
I've never met a sister. I try a way out of the story.
You've heard these stories,
but I've heard the story. I stay out of it because it was never like I was there for her. I was her support system.
Y'all know how many baby mamas and side chicks was in my DMs over the stupid accusations?
How many?
Do you know?
Did you tell them?
I ain't even answer. I'm like, talk to your man, girl.
That's Duddy.
Girls, talk to your mans. That's your man, not mine.
It may seem like she was making light of a serious situation, but I get it now. She thought she was dying, but all we cared about was the identity of the celebrity. Yuck.
Like normally, if I'm a side dude, I'm most likely going to use a condom because she's in a full-blown relationship with another person.
Right.
Like, so to protect me and her.
I knew it was Nick Cannon. Mr. Wildin' Out was out here wilding out and impregnating everything that was born a light-skinned woman.
You should use condoms. Now, my condom ratio, I'm winning. Like my level, it doesn't happen every time, but I still get an A.
And even talking as if he was immune to AIDS.
Interesting. So now, up to that you say that, and there's, because at one point I was on like 30 medications because of like my lupus. And one of my doctors told me like one of the pills that I'm on, and it wasn't just HIV, but they were telling me that I get my blood work done every month because I have to because of lupus.
It seems as if he really does have lupus and he's not embarrassed by that, but it also sounds as if he is undetectable and he has either HIV or AIDS.
There are like a lot of the things in viruses that the average person can get I can't get because of the level of medication that I'm on, and because I have an autoimmune condition that my immune system, anything foreign, it instantly wants to get rid of, and some of the drugs that I'm on enhance that ability.
And that's the same story.
Okay, so I wanted to play that because there's several of us that do have lupus, okay, including myself. First of all, I do not have to take 30 medications, okay? That's number one. Number two, I do not have to get blood work done every single month, okay? So that's number two. The other problem that I had with this is the way that he tried to word this, okay, which is very dangerous. And I definitely wanted to talk about this and highlight this because those of us that have lupus for real and actually fight that disorder, you know, this is a slap in our face. So I wanted to share my screen with you guys in regards to this because he said something that was crazy. He said, you know, if I take certain medications, you know, I'm immune to having HIV, which is absolutely false. Okay. And I want to make sure that I share the facts with you guys so that everybody knows this. Okay. Now, yes, it is absolutely possible to get HIV while taking lupus medication, although it is rare for people to have systemic lupus I always say it wrong. SLE, guys, okay? To also have HIV. HIV after SLE diagnosis. It is possible to acquire HIV after being diagnosed with SLE. In one study, 5 patients developed HIV after being diagnosed with SLE, which is systemic lupus, okay? It is possible to develop SLE after starting antiretroviral therapy or ART for HIV. In one study, 2 HIV-positive patients developed SLE after receiving HAART for 30 and 35 months. HIV and SLE can coexist. It is possible to be diagnosed with both HIV and SLE at the same time. In one study, 10 patients were diagnosed with both at the same time. Drug interactions. Immunosuppressants and steroids used to treat SLE can cause HIV to replicate. However, chloroquine is safe to use for people with HIV. The exact impact of HIV on SLE and vice versa is unclear. Clinicians should be cautious when diagnosing patients and consider the dose of immunosuppressants and ART procedure. So don't ever let anybody tell you that, you know, if they have lupus and that they're taking lupus medications, that they are immune to getting HIV. Strap up and make sure that you are using protection with these people, okay? It does not matter. You can absolutely get this disease even if you're taking immunosuppressant medications for SLE, okay? It is absolutely a thing. So I don't know why he wanted to say that. I don't know if he's just uneducated about it. I don't know if he's just saying it because he's trying to get out of the whole thing or whatever, but it is very dangerous to, as a, you know, a person that is of influence like that, to be making those kinds of statements, okay? Because it's absolutely untrue whatsoever. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys before I did end the show. Make sure y'all do hit the like button on the way out. Yes, child, he does not like condoms, obviously, right? You said our cousin has lupus, and yeah, okay, just saying. You said I lost a sister-in-law to lupus. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Triggs, peace to you. I appreciate you being in the building. We're actually about to end the show. This right here is the Sun's channel. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that up. Y'all make sure y'all go over there, grab the link, go listen to Skinny Donald, okay? Because he got a lot to tell y'all. And then none of the videos are spliced and diced. Y'all notice I didn't throw and play what I wanted you to hear and all this stuff. No, I want y'all to go over there and listen to that shit in its entirety. I want y'all to see the state of mind that his son is in, right? While he's out here trying to put Triggs and Drama in jail, and he's not helping his son in no fucking way, shape, form, or fashion. He can send $1,000 to shock him, but he can't send his son a single fucking dime, right? Like, let's go ahead and look at that shit. Let's go ahead and listen to him, and let's see what happens from there. You said another reason I adore is our sector. You get what you put into it. Exactly. 100%. I appreciate y'all. We are out of here. And peace, guys. Thank y'all again for watching.